what's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Seamus.
Soda.
And I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
We are back. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks. I'm at Ref Marsh. Klump, who are you?
I am at Crybaby Klump. What's going on, people? Yeah.
What is happening? Guys, it is the draft, or as I like to call it, the nightmare before Christmas.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I actually really like the draft every year. And I'm excited they didn't do the whole War Room thing with all those fake TV executives with their fake warrior paint and that weird Fox robot in the corner, fake crying.
That was the weirdest thing. I mean,
so weird last year.
I understand why. I get it. Like, you're trying to build up, like, we're on Fox. We have this weird relationship with Fox. Fox is sports.
Yeah. But it was weird. I'm glad they ditched it this year. Really glad they ditched it. Klump, how you been? I haven't talked to you in, like, minutes.
Right? Decent, yeah. In the time since we last talked, I have farted once.
Woo!
Yeah.
Joyous?
Yeah.
It's times like this that makes me miss the fact that we're remote now. We used to be around the table just huffing in each other's funk.
Yeah. Smelling vaguely like Parmesan.
Put your hand up on my hips. When I beef, you beef, we beef. See?
Yeah. Seeking out ways to randomly play Peaches and Cream.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree. I can be down with that.
Are you going to add our HomePod minis to different parts of the house to, like, further the experience?
HomePod minis? I don't have... Oh, did that just get released? Minis?
They're coming out, yes.
All right. I saw a little bit about the 12, and I thought it was really funny. I know they're trying to go with the new iPad Pro.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's you.
Sorry, that was me.
That's you the whole time.
I apologize.
So... I know that they're going with that bezel look that they gave to the Pro for the iPad and stuff, but you can't deny that looks an awful iPhone 4-ish.
I'm okay with that. My favorite design.
Oh yeah, I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
I'll say iPhone 5, though it does have the glass back, so iPhone 4. But the kind of rigid straight sides I like a lot more. Yeah, I don't see a design language connection to the iPad. I see it further back, which is fine.
Yeah.
Go at, yeah.
Exactly. I thought that too. I was like, I know you guys are thinking you think you did the bezel. You didn't. Mm-hmm. You did a callback.
Hey.
That's what you did.
Time is cyclical.
Hell yeah, man. So I was into that. I didn't watch the whole thing or catch all the updates, but if there's a mini HomePod, then I could be a little bit into that.
Wow. Okay. That's bad.
Guys, if you're not already following us on all of our social medias, then you got to go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com to do that. And if you have not subscribed to us on Twitch, I suggest you get to it because this is an AJ Styles signed comic book that we are going to give away when we hit 50 subscribers. Don't worry, you have time. We're not close. Go ahead, subscribe to the show on twitch.tv/WrestlingOnTheRocks. And if you can go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com, we can help you figure out how you can join your Twitch to your Amazon Prime so you can subscribe to us for free and basically get a free entry on that. And we're going to give it away on the air whenever that happens. Klump, are you in the raffle yet?
I didn't know I could be in it. I thought it was kind of I didn't know I could vote.
You can be in it, but you can't win it.
I was told you got to be in it to win it. What the fuck is the point of this?
Yeah, dude, it is not an easy game. It's like they say on social media. It's like they keep saying on social media, you keep moving the goalposts. That's how we do. That's how this show works. We will continuously move the goalpost. Klump, while I open up my Tivana unsweetened original black tea, let me know what are you drinking.
Actually, I think that's Tihava, not Tivana.
That
big ass weird bottle. I got a big old thing of Pellegrino. Got a big old thing of coffee, and I forgot to I thought I cleaned out my thermos more than I did, so I got some chunks in it, which is not fun.
Ooh, sprinkles.
Yeah,
And the
coffee skin.
Producer has red wine going, so yeah.
Any particular
It's my standard apothic red blend.
You don't know this about the producer lady? She's goth as fuck.
I'm what?
Goth as fuck.
Oh.
She goth. That's why she drinks that goth red wine. That's apothic.
With
She's drinking to the end of the world, as we all are. Oh yeah, there it is. Let's get slothy.
actually, I poured low this time.
She did. She poured low. She's like, oh, I
Yeah,
don't like
you-
it. So, but we are still supporting, for all those who are curious, Sober for October. If you go to sober. How did I lose it again? Is it Go Sober?
Yeah,
Go
Why?
to gosober.org.uk. There's still time. You can sign up. Sober for October. You can do it 3 different ways: 14 days, 21 days, 31 days. Go booze free. Ask your friends to donate and help people living with cancer. It's a pretty cool thing that people do every October, it appears, for the Macmillan Cancer Society. Is that their name?
Producer is
Cancer Support. Macmillan Cancer Support.
not a part of that, but you guys, good job.
Yeah.
Producers are curmudgeon.
She believes in it, so her charity is not being too sober around me.
Yeah, I could get that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I agree with it, because if she is too sober around me, then nobody wins.
This
So.
just becomes a domestic dispute documented.
Yeah. Just go ahead and jot this one down.
Just,
Yeah.
This is like
Sober
this is
October.
evidence piece A.
Can you imagine, like, you find out the 911 response is like, October's the worst. Everyone's trying not to drink, and all they do is shoot each other and stab each other.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
I
But
could see that, unfortunately.
oh yeah, dude. So I knew a firefighter who told me that the busiest days of the year were big holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, because they said that here's people who refuse to be around their family all year round because they know they don't get along, and now they're forced to get along, be around each other, and drink. He goes, they need to stay away. So,
Yeah.
so I could see it. I could see it, but there are a lot of benefits to going sober. So check that out. GoSober.org.uk. That came from one of our listeners, Don Stugitz.
Nice.
Stugats? What the hell do I know? It's a shout out.
Not pronunciation.
That's a shout out. That's his catchphrase.
Oh, nice.
Anyways, as I transition,
Great segue. Let's get into
Yeah.
wrestles.
super into segues lately, dude. Is there anything you heard about in the news you thought was worth bringing up?
I mean, we can go into. No, it's gonna come out when we talk about a big reveal.
Yeah, anything outside of just these shows. The only thing I saw that I thought would be worth just playing with in our mind, because the draft has completed, there was a lot of rumors going into the draft that both Eva Marie and Melina would end up showing up during the draft. And neither of them did. And a lot of dirt sheets are really walking away being like, oh, things must have changed. And oh, they must have changed their mind. But of course, they're never wrong. But Eva Marie and Melina, what do you think about if they had showed up?
I would be okay with Melina, because Melina, I don't get the Eva Marie part. I mean, I could see them wanting to bring Eva Marie in, but I feel like, in my heart of wrestling hearts, hopes that if you're bringing somebody in, they're a talent who's improved that much that there's a reason to be there. And Eva Marie was the best part of their gimmick, was the joke part of finding ways to not perform, which is funny once or twice, but it just became old hat really rapidly. So I'm kind of with Eva Marie,
Yeah.
With Melina, yeah, I would love to see Melina perform, and I think Melina has the space to perform and be in the WWE. That'd be awesome, but I don't know,
Yeah. I think the irony is this. One, yeah, I don't care about Eva Marie, and that's not meant to be a jab at her. It's just that, like you said, her whole gimmick at the time was that she refuses to wrestle, so how funny can we make it that she's not wrestling? Which just made me lose interest. And when she did wrestle before then, she wasn't great because she was so new.
Yeah.
And at this point, we haven't seen her in so long that I feel that there's a lot of potential there if she did return of possibly doing something. But I'm not excited because there's nothing to be excited about from the past. It's not like, oh, we can relive this or that. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, I get that. I agree with that. Is I feel like Eva Marie's role has been like they sit in a very unique space that I don't know where that fits now. The I think they would be maybe the biggest talent WWE would have had in the late 90s.
Maybe.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Now, at the same time, had she showed up, I'd have been interested to see where it's going. And when we first saw the Untouchable stuff, before we knew it was even Untouchable with Carmella, there was a few rumblings going around that it could be Eva Marie, and I thought that could be okay. You know, but like I
Clever.
said, it's not something that I would be overly excited for because like, oh, we can get more of this that I saw before. It would just be like, oh, let's see what she's got. It would feel really fresh, which is cool because there's not a whole lot of backstory to really lean on as far as like callbacks. But I'd be interested to see what she's been doing in the past couple of years, see if she's gotten much better.
Yeah, I agree. I get that. I agree with that.
You're hearing an echo?
Is anyone else hearing an echo?
I'm not hearing an echo. So
No.
one of your tabs has got to be making noise. The other thing. Oh yeah, I just heard a little bit of an echo. Is your mic muted?
Yes.
Okay. It could be from Klump's side if his headphones are really loud.
I closed all those. Nothing's open. in the
Nothing's
tabs.
open. All right. Well,
How about now?
I barely heard it the once, but I'm not hearing it now, so maybe that's better. So whatever you just did probably was the trick.
Thank you.
The other thing that I think would be interesting about the idea of Melina showing up is she got a lot of heat during speaking out, dude. She stood up for somebody, and I don't remember who, and I'm sure people will know, but she sent out a number of tweets telling the person who was coming out to shut up because they were talking about her friend. And that obviously didn't fly great. And then it wasn't the only story that was out there, so it also seemed, plausible. So I would be interested to see the internet just explode. But
Yeah.
I also didn't think she was bringing a lot to the table in NWA, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So I just thought, I was just wondering what you thought, if there was anything about them that you were particularly excited about. If one of them had shown up, there's still rumors that Eva Marie might show up in WWE at some point for a return. Like I said, if she does, I'd be interested to see what she's got.
Yeah. No, I mean, Melina, absolutely. I still kind of, and well, we'll get into this. We'll get into this more as we talk about what's happening. But beyond that, I mean, outside of WWE, we know the G1 Climax is still going. There was a pretty amazing match between Ishii and Jeff Cobb, where Jeff Cobb yeeted, best way to describe Ishii, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, both of them are very stout guys. You know, like I won't. They're not the classic Vince McMahon body, like 7 feet tall, 4 billion pounds.
Yeah.
They're both about 6 feet, but they're both about 250 to 280 at about 6 feet, and maybe I would actually say no. They're both a little bit under. They're 5'10" and 5'8" respectively. They're big boys for what they are. And Jeff Cobb got Ishii
Jeff
in like
Cobb,
a belly to belly and threw him and like proper tossed him. It was great.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. I remember Jeff Cobb making an appearance in AEW, and everyone was really excited. I thought,
Oh, yeah.
I think it was just actually when I was at the Hard Times filming, people were expecting and hoping Jeff Cobb was going to show up in NWA at some point, but obviously
That'd be
filming
good.
on that got halted. But yeah, his little spot he had in AEW was all right, and I guess he signed on with NJPW for whatever reason based off of his experience in AEW.
Hey, I mean he's doing good there, and you
Yeah.
know, if I mean NJPW, they haven't slowed down. I think they got a huge wrench thrown at them with the creation of AEW, but they haven't slowed down. If anything, they've become more and more creative in how they have created talent. They have
Yeah.
a really fantastic deep roster, and you know, with the loss of the talent that's gone to AEW, they've highlighted some really cool people, and it's always, to me, it's always impressive watching NJPW. We're like, damn, this is really good. Like,
Yeah.
y'all do, like, because the other thing is, when you're watching their big events, it is their best guys. You're like, wow, y'all know how to work together.
That's cool. No,
Yeah.
yeah, and I have heard some good things about the G1 too, so that's pretty good. What's going on?
Mhm.
Was there anything else, even G1 related,
Uh,
that you want to throw out there?
Looks like Bullet Club's going to be possibly splitting up, or at least Jay White's going to be kicked out of the Bullet Club, because Jay White had a match with Yujiro, and he had some heat with Yujiro and Evil after one of their kind of promos they do, the post game promos, and that'd be interesting. Jay White's really good. I don't know if this is Jay White maybe heading to somewhere else. That'd be interesting to see. He's really young. He's pretty fucking good. Or maybe becoming more of a face or moving to another faction. There's a lot of options there.
Well, that's cool. A big shift for him.
That's really what I got.
Nice. That's all good stuff. That all sounds like good stuff.
Yeah. Actually had
Let's
some
see.
news.
Yeah. I was like, I brought news. Who news?
Okay.
She's pissed. She's pissed. I think we get into SmackDown. I don't know when Kev's gonna show up or if or anything like that. So we can just dive right into SmackDown and see what he's got to say about that when he comes in, if he does. Dude, it started off, opened up, Sheamus versus Big E in a Falls Count Anywhere match. I don't like we've already established. I'm not real big on going moment by moment, but we do fall into that at times. This is one where the way that it opened, I felt like we got to talk about this.
No, it was a fucking great match. What did you think of the opening?
What do you mean?
No,
Did I miss something about the opening of it? Like it started off in the ring really good, I thought. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said you want to go moment by moment.
Oh, not moment by moment. I meant like
episode.
segment by segment.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this was a good
Yeah,
match.
it starts off with a fucking collar elbow.
I was gonna say, if we're gonna start doing this moment by moment, you're not gonna like the rest of me for the night.
Yeah. No, I meant more like segment by segment. Talking about the opening segment of this one, I thought was fantastic. I did think there were moments that I was like, okay, it's easy to fall out a little bit because there were some moments that were a little silly, but they got real fucking serious real fast. When they go to the back and they said they're in the catering table, and then they hit flour and eggs on people, like what kind of fucking catering brings ingredients?
I think that actually does violate several health code things. You're not supposed to have raw ingredients near finished cooked food,
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a smart move, the eggs, because the minute they cracked it, I was like, oh, that's a big mess. I mean, if you've cooked with eggs, you get it on your hands and you're like, oh my God, I gotta wash, because it's all slippery, it's all over the place, and we could see that in the match, which I thought was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, they got a little slippery out there. Between sweat, eggs, and flour, it gets slippery. And I bet you they came out covered in baby oil, too. That's just their way.
Yeah, it was a messy-ass match.
Yeah, so by the end of it, it was like a couple of salamanders.
Yeah.
I was into it.
Two big, meaty men being ready to be fried.
Yeah. I thought that was funny. I thought the idea of Big E sweeping Sheamus and hitting him with the broom. I was making a joke about him having a clean sweep against Sheamus. I didn't see anybody bring it up, but I was expecting people to lose their shit and be like, he's making fun of the cleaner. I didn't see that out there, but I expected people to say that. I don't think that was part of it. Although he is friends with Kenny, isn't he?
Kinda. I mean, Xavier's more the connection between the groups.
That's true. I guess I would expect it from Woods before E if they were to try and make a little wink and a nod. But the match itself I thought was spectacular. So good. So brutal. The only thing that there was one spot in the end where Big E goes to powerbomb Sheamus and he kind of just like slides off the car and doesn't break the window. You could just see it on Big E's face, like, God damn it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, but maybe as wrestling fans, we should be more aware. Like when somebody doesn't go through something, they're like, "Oh shit, that is hard," you know?
Yeah.
Because that's a scary moment. Like, oh no, like.
Yeah, that might be worse.
Yeah, like when I mean, in terms of people sliding off cars, as long as it's not Shaggy 2 Dope sliding off the Partridge bus and falling 15 fucking feet, we're okay.
Yeah.
But what I took away from this, and a lot of people obviously compare it to Stone Cold Booker T. I think this works for the characters involved. I think both guys have a lot of comedy chops in wrestling. They both, have shown time and again they can be silly, but I think for Big E, what was big here is it showed him be serious, which we've had to work to establish that. Yeah, he can really go in the ring, but we need, I believe he has the capability of being one of the more deep in terms of layered characters that WWE can have, where he's not just like one like crystallized person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But we need to
exactly.
see
He
more-
doesn't have to be 100% goofy all the time, but he doesn't have to be stoically serious all the time either. Here's someone who could really be several sides. Dude, what are you, sharpening a knife?
No,
What was that?
there's my straw in my coffee container. I will take it out.
You got a metal straw?
Yeah, in a metal
Hell yeah.
container. I am now realizing how not smart this is.
I like that you asked because you have one as well.
Me too. I thought I was the only one who had a giant metal straw.
Yeah, they had them at Target. They're great. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now as you say this, I feel bad about the number of like calls I'm on for my job where I might bang that into something as I'm having somebody do something. Like, yeah, totally. Ting, ting, ting.
It
Yeah, but-
definitely sounded like you're banging pots and pans.
Yeah. I got mine from Wild Bill's. You ever go to the conventions, like toy conventions and stuff, where they have like that little old west looking soda booth?
Soda cart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's them. I got a giant metal straw to go with my enormous I'm Your Huckleberry mug.
Oh,
Wild
do you
Bills.
want mine from Fan Fusion? I have one that's all copper.
Oh, mule style?
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Is it Bad
Like-
Dragon?
No, it's a Wild Bills one.
Oh,
Same thing, but it's all copper.
that's cool.
I got it at Phoenix
Alright.
Fan Fusion.
We're gonna have to check that out. And whenever I go to conventions, I mean, obviously this year has been a little different than most, but when I go to conventions, because I got that at the first one, I actually clip that with a carabiner to my convention bag. So when I walk up, and because they always have a Wild Bill somewhere, when I walk up, I'm all like, I'm just here for a refill. Like, I'm already on it.
God damn it. That's You're one of those guys, because I kept seeing those and I was like, what are these doofy ass things? And I bought one because I wanted to try the sodas, and
Yeah.
they were kind of a lifesaver because it was a bitch to get any
Drinks.
water of any type there.
Yeah. I drink more soda at conventions than I do any other time of the entire year. And when I was walking around with the cup clipped to the back of my bag, I had people stop me and be like, that is so smart. I've bought like 7 of those cups and I never know what to do with them and I just give them away. And I was like, dude, you're missing the trick. Anyways, that's for the news segment. Back to SmackDown. But like you said, Big E, the idea of him being multi-layered and not one-dimensionally just all goofy all the time, but having a serious side when it comes to being in a competitive fight, I like that. Because, yeah, I do think that the way he does deliver his promos is funny and entertaining. And if he can get me laughing my way into the match, but screaming during it, dude, I don't know if you had a champion that funny who could also be that serious.
I feel like he could.
Probably the
A lot
closest would be Shawn Michaels when I think about it.
I think the closest would be Stone Cold to me.
You think Stone Cold was that funny? Well, I guess he was pretty funny with Kurt Angle.
With Vince. Like
And-
Stone Cold had a lot of really funny moments where he could balance it. Like I like it. I think to me, Big E could be very much what they want Drew to be, because I feel like that's what, Biggie with a belt would be cocky and like, look at what I got and all this and awesome, but also could be serious and like, you could have some really neat, deep stories. I think it'd be really cool if Biggie had the belt and then had, one of the New Day get up there, and where it could be a face-to-face feud where it's deep and layered, but it doesn't end in one person turning heel,
Yeah.
But it's still something where you feel satisfied and happy in it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want Big E, like, if he goes and takes the title, which I'm 100% for, I don't know that I would want him to, like, give a title shot to Woods. Because then what?
I don't want... I don't want anyone to be given a title shot anymore. I want people to earn it, but I could see, like, what if, Woods or Kofi are, in a bracket, like we do a King of the Ring again, and they get to the final. Yeah,
I just don't think I'm actually interested because their brotherhood is so strong and it is such a positive thing. I don't think I want to see a moment where we have a Woods or a Kofi where the only thing in the way of them achieving their big achievement or goals or dreams is Big E. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I see what you mean. Like, I think they would have a tremendous match and they could both look good by the end of it. But I think personally, I don't know that I would care to see Big E be in the way of them,
I can get that. I think when I throw it out there, I think of the, they've talked about it on their podcast a bit, the idea of them not being split up and, being bigger than certain kind of ideas. And I could see this as being it. Like, they're bigger than, their brotherhood, their collective, like, care for each other is more than, this feud. And it could still be, you have those teases toward people splitting and stuff like that, but it still goes together. Because I think, beyond I think what makes the New Day so fantastic in the WWE system has been they are the people who...
Whoa.
What?
He just dropped. Oh, he's back.
Can you guys hear me?
I hear him. Do you hear him?
I can hear you.
Oh!
That's it.
My audio got weird when you jumped in. I was like, uh-oh.
We got two clumps. That's right. One clump will fall off.
Okay. All right.
Yo.
Kev.
Did you miss me?
Welcome in.
Oh, my God. Dude, this has been a nightmare.
Is it rough?
I've been telling him he's doing a good job, dude, but there's just no way.
He got fuzzy again.
I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, I was in the middle of some long-winded bullshit. You're good. I'm glad you're here.
Clump's just all like, oh, God, I couldn't keep it up.
I have to do work.
Yeah, he's working on it. Clump's just like out of breath, like, I had to have my own thoughts the whole time. Oh, God.
Sweat away.
Yeah.
I should probably put my cooler down.
You turn around, he's got like Taz towel over his head. Oh, God.
Oh, that'd be great. So down for pastel day.
Kev, we were talking about a couple of things. The only thing so we actually just got started. We were talking about Sheamus and Big E. I do want your quick opinion. There was a lot of rumors, it didn't happen, that Eva Marie and Melina were going to show up during the draft. What would you have thought of if they did?
Ugh.
Yeah. All right. Across the board, right?
That's all I got.
Yeah, across the board.
Melina was the day. Even Marie, there was all this hype, and then obviously didn't lead it to anything. But I mean, I don't know. If you bring him back, I think Rumble would be a better place.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just his connection. That's just how we live. Kev, what did you think of Sheamus versus Big E in a Falls Count Anywhere match?
I thought it was pretty good. I liked, as soon as you see the Hyundai spot in there, they're going through a car.
I thought the internet was going to be a little more petty than it was. I'm here for the pettiness. I didn't see anybody talk about Kenny Omega with the brooms and saying that they were talking about the cleaner, and I didn't see anyone talk about the parking lot brawl. Although I made a comment just to rile up somebody where I said easily the best parking lot brawl I've seen ever.
But then, yeah.
And in this case, no one came out of a trunk; they shoved Big E into a trunk. So that's interesting. It's a nice dichotomy.
Yeah.
But I'm just joking. Obviously, I think the parking lot brawl they did on AEW is fantastic. But I do think that this match was much better than I think a lot of us expected, especially at this point where we've had like 4 or 5 Sheamus Big E matches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about a blow off.
Yeah.
Kev, go ahead.
One thing I am getting sick of is them literally breaking parts off the car. Like, as soon as I saw the trunk go up, I was like, oh, they're going to hit it. And sure enough, they did it, just like with the ambulance and everything else. I think that's a little played out by now.
Do you think they're going to have a breakaway Hyundai toy kit?
Of course.
Be cool.
They have a partnership, so might as well.
Wouldn't it be like like a remake of the Crash Test Dummies? Like,
oh, that'd be good. Now they've already got the ambulance, the break apart ambulance, and they got that car wreck smash one with Braun. So yeah, I could see them.
I feel like, I'm okay with them breaking some parts of the car, but I mean, it is sometimes funny in that how overused it's become. Like, I'm cool with breaking windows, I get it. Knocking mirrors off, I get it. But when it's like, okay, somebody's gonna rip a door off this, and you're like, those are designed to not come off. More and more, what happens is I get cautious at the strength of these late model, appearing to be lightly used vehicles.
You're like, oh, that's a bad car.
I'm not buying a 2009 through 18 or Nissan Maxima.
I like the idea, like the car door gets like kicked right off, and people go, "Oh my God, look how hard he kicked it!" And Klump is like, "What a poorly built car."
Yeah.
There's no way that should have
engineer
withheld
like watching this, like, motherfucker.
I'm definitely not buying one of those.
Yeah, I'm gonna save my money on that
National
one.
Highway Safety Administration has come out and revised their crash test rating on these vehicles per the match at Fastlane.
Yeah.
Well,
I do think that.
Well, I was just gonna say that was just one of the bigger surprises to me is I saw the Hyundai, and they actually went to the Nissan first.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, maybe they're not gonna touch the Hyundai, and then they got to the Hyundai later.
Yeah, they got there. They got where they were going.
But it's just like,
I thought that,
guys,
as much as I didn't mind, and I wasn't bothered by the idea of the car part coming off, I do completely understand where you would be. Like, hearing you say that, like, I just don't want to see the cars ripped apart one more time, 100% justifiable. But in the moment, it didn't catch me. If I remember right, Sheamus like kicks it and then ripped it off, and I was like, oh, that seems pretty brutal.
But he should have hit him with it.
Yeah,
like if he turned around and smacked Sheamus with it, I would have been like, all right, cool, that made sense. But I think
that'd be fucking cool.
But I think that should be more of a protected spot. Like, you know how some moves are like, hey, we're gonna reserve this for, this person. I think breaking off a door or a trunk, to be left to almost Braun Strowman and like these monsters, not Sheamus Brogue kicking it or Drew McIntyre, whatever his Claymore kicking it.
I mean,
Like,
Big
but those
E,
are both relatively protected moves.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Klump?
I could see like Big E, like you have to establish the strength of someone like Big E. Nobody's gonna argue his strength. I could see him doing it, but it does feel weird to see it more and more used, because then you build in the idea of these people being superheroes again, and then we kind of get to, like, I feel like we were finally getting away from like how incredibly powerful everyone's moves were, that everyone also is able to kick out of them,
Yeah.
Like,
we're starting to get them reestablishing, which is nice. We got Grim Reaper coming through the chat. What's up, Grim?
Yo.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking this weird clear substance. It's not vodka and not gin. I don't know what it is. It has no taste to it.
Butane. Hey, Graham, if you haven't, if you subscribe to the channel, you can be entered to win this AJ Styles autographed comic. Tell all your friends. We're going to give that away when we hit 50 subscribers. Just throwing that out there again. For anybody who's watching on video. For anybody who's listening on podcast, check out the Twitter. Maybe you see what it looks like.
Yeah. We can join too, but we can't win it.
Mm-hmm. So I thought the match itself was spectacular. Was there anything else you guys want to say? Oh, and we were talking about the idea that they are really getting to a point with Big E where we know how funny he can be, and we don't think he has to be serious all the time. But a match that was this brutal really goes a long way in solidifying him that he can go the distance when he needs to, and
Like
he can be funny bringing you into the match in the promos,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. No,
Kev, anything else you want to say about the match?
No, I liked it. You know, I thought we were going to talk about, like, the blood and the bleeding and stuff like that.
Go ahead.
You know,
Bring it up.
With AEW's matches, the match and stuff like that, like, that to me seemed like, obviously, like, so staged. Where this was, like, accidental blood, but it was, like, prevalent. Just like the Finn Balor with NXT. And it came out, like, looking legit because...
Yeah.
Well, it was legit, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just...
Yeah. Well, because with all the glass, I mean, it was the same thing that sort of happened in the AEW one, is that once you're starting hitting the windshields and stuff, like, it's pretty much impossible.
You mean NXT?
No. I meant like in AEW's parking lot brawl where it got so bloody, it's pretty much impossible to not get blood when you're going to start smashing up glass. You know what I mean? And so I was kind of surprised that they allowed him to start going through windshields and stuff too, because there's no way they didn't know that was going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, it's a cool thing. I think, it's neat to see it every once in a while. So, like, I think we've seen. I think that maybe this is the first time I felt like okay with the amount, like the kind of mix between adult natured stuff in wrestling versus like, it being too maybe hokey. So we see just enough blood, but not like, oh shit, like you get kind of like concerned for what's gonna happen. Like, oh damn, someone's gonna get fucked up here.
Yeah, this isn't like Hogan cutting his head and just pouring blood everywhere. These are guys in a fight who look like they got bloody because they're fighting.
Yeah.
It's definitely a totally different look, which is also really good. Grim Reaper says in the chat, the Big E's charisma reminds him of The Rock, where he can be really funny, but be all business in the ring. Yeah. And I agree. We were kind of saying that earlier, that he kind of reminded me in that regard with Shawn Michaels and the DX era, with how much they were joking and making you laugh going in, but once the match started, it was all pretty serious.
The mullet wrestler.
Yeah. Yep, the mullet.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about Big E or Sheamus you want to bring out there, Kev? Because me and Klump kind of went through it earlier.
No. I mean, we don't need to go back, and I pretty much just brought up the blood thing, like I said. That's it.
Yeah. I now that you mention it, I remember thinking that for a second too. I was like, oh shit, they're letting them go through glass. They're okay with blood right now, because there's no way you're saying, hey, just smash up the glass and then just don't bleed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, roll off of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like, real
ahead.
quick, also was the rubber tire iron.
Oh, I was so pissed.
We were laughing so much.
Bonk.
I was like, wait, he doesn't know tools, huh?
Yeah, I was like, well, Corey Graves has never changed a tire in his fucking life. We just found out.
I mean, like, A for effort, but it was really funny because then the other commentator said the same thing that he did. Oh,
Yeah.
tire iron. I was like, wait.
Michael
no.
Cole agreed. He goes, yes, that is a tire iron. And I was like, no, it's not. It was a crowbar. And you're not getting a fucking tire out for the crowbar.
There's no sockets on
I mean,
that.
you can get it off. You're not getting a new one on after.
Yeah. If that tire comes off, you're not changing it out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
A crowbar's
One-way
fantastic
street.
at getting stuff off, out of, or just generally disassembling. The problem is in putting shit back together after it's been utilized for that.
Yeah, how many phones we've seen people walk into the Apple Store with in their hands and in a box, pieces apart, being like, "I was just fixing it myself. If you just take it from here, get the fuck out of here." But I digress.
When the doctor's coming in with a crowbar, whatever he is removing, it is an amputation. We are not replacing.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, he hit him with a crowbar or with the tire iron." I was like, "The fuck out of here with it." And then Cole agrees with him. I was like, "You guys have never changed a tire."
I would love to see.
They have AAA.
Yeah.
I would love to see Corey Graves get a flat tire, like with just because you could just see him being maybe the biggest dick ever, like him in a car with a lady, because that's how I just picture him around women, unfortunately, because of how he presents himself, and just cussing. You fix it, babe. I don't know what I'm doing.
I actually feel like Carmella could change a tire.
Yeah, I feel like she would knock that out.
Like, I feel like she'd just be like, "Oh, I got this."
She would stand on top of the crowbar. I figure it would be one of the T-bar crowbars where it's got the cross on there. I feel like she would stand on top of it and moonwalk on the tire iron, and it would just undo all the lug nuts.
I don't know. I guess I'll ask her tomorrow.
Yeah.
Meet and greet.
Yep, producer's getting a meet and greet with Carmella.
Oh.
But what was funny to me about that Tool misstep, I guess, is that no one told them on the mic. Like, no one corrected them. So to me, that was even better.
I just imagine whoever's in the back is just laughing at them. Well, they're not going to correct it. They're just laughing.
If there is any person at WWE who I feel knows even less about how to change a tire, it might be the person in that headset.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Bruce mentioned a story about Vince. I don't remember if it was he ran out of gas or got a flat tire, but he just left a car somewhere.
He got into a car accident and he walked away from the car. It's actually
and just said you can find it here. And I think he's done the same thing in airports where he's pulled up, left the car on, and just called the rental service and said you can find your car over there.
Yeah.
So
he's not really a person.
That's the life, man.
it's pretty good. I wish I could leave cars all over the place.
How do we get to that level?
Yeah, we need to be on that leave cars places level.
He would be a car I'm not saying he would get whatever car he wants, but he would be like, you could create a market as a car salesman to be the dealer to Vince. Like, oh no, I got you, Vince. I'll have a car for you there.
Oh yeah,
tank of gas running.
He's the type he gets his own. Hey, what did you guys think of KO versus Bray?
I don't know. I like the match. I like both. I like both characters, but I just don't know how I actually felt about it.
I thought it was much better than I thought it was going to go. And Kevin looked much stronger than I thought he was going to look.
But then in doing that, doesn't that make Bray look a lot weaker than we thought he was going to look?
I don't think it does necessarily because Bray gets Kevin into a mandible claw. Kevin, trying to fight his way out of it, goes for a stunner and lands it, and Bray doesn't release the claw, but he does go down. And he does almost go limp, but not quite, and then he gets back up. He sells it for like a couple seconds, and then gets up, and then just lays in the claw. And so it's kind of like, it was an interesting way to actually sort of protect both moves.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. To me, it made Kevin look like he could go toe-to-toe with Bray, even though he couldn't figure out how to put him away. But it makes me think down the line, maybe he could. You know what I mean? I don't know that he should be the one to do it, but after that match, you think, maybe.
I can get that. Yeah, I can go with that.
Kev?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like they might be setting up something for the future. Whether it's at Rumble or Mania, I don't know what path they're going to take to get there.
Yeah,
but
I do think it's going to be a long time down the road, though. Grim Reaper, it looks like, agrees. He says, I think it's a blow-off match between the two. The Fiend and Bliss move on to terrorize the Raw roster. And I agree with that, too. I think it was a blow-off match, but a blow-off match that made Kevin look strong enough to where, like you said, if Rumble comes around and they're face-to-face or something happens and they're face-to-face, people go, oh, shit, you remember the last time, Let's see. Speaking of blow-off matches, the couple things I want to hit up in SmackDown before we just talk about the draft in general. But Roman said that the stipulation for the Hell in a Cell match with him and Jay was going to be an I Quit match, and then said after that there was going to be consequences if he does quit. So it was like a stipulation was still another pending stipulation, and I wasn't thrilled with that part. But I do think it's interesting to have...
It's like adopted out.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be some sort of tribal thing, some sort of like leave the company thing. I don't know, because I really didn't get into it at all. But I do think it's interesting having an I Quit match in a Hell in a Cell. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely adds a different aspect to it. You know, no more. You know, even if they break out of the cage, like every match pretty much does, they still have to quit.
Yeah, exactly. They have to quit. It's not going to be like any of the other Hell in a Cell matches where they got to get back into the ring or anything like that. They just got to quit. I also think this could be one of the Hell in a Cell matches that stays in the cell.
I think it should, yeah.
I think it should too. I think it'd be more brutal if they did. I think getting up on top of the cell means nothing in this match.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, Roman and Braun stayed in the cell too, if I remember correctly. And then Brock came in and ripped the door off and ruined the whole match. But I do think that Roman and Jay could put on a better Hell in a Cell match than we saw then. And I think that I think they stay in the ring, make it brutal, and bring it to the I Quit. I am really curious what this seemingly additional stipulation is going to be. What is this additional consequence that no one's talking about?
Yeah.
Do you think they announce it ahead of, or they don't tell us until the match? Because I want, give me a reason to care about it.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, it could be interesting enough if you said you'll find out the consequences if you get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then you get to a point where Jay quits and you get Roman and just the storytelling that he's able to pull off at this point. Just being like, I wish you hadn't have done that. Now this is what you're going to have to live with, and then does whatever he's going to do and says whatever he's going to say, and they just go into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I could see that where he says all like, if you quit, there are more consequences. The only thing that sucks about it is Jay has to quit because the idea of Jay taking that title off of Roman in a Hell in a Cell seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if Jay wins, I'm going to cry. I'm letting you all know that right now.
Happy tears.
Yeah. I'll just he did it!
See, I wanted, when they fought at SummerSlam, I wanted Jimmy and Jay to do the old switcheroo.
Just go back and forth?
Yeah,
Twin magic?
One goes under the ring and he starts fighting Roman and they switch and, behind the ref's back and basically a 2-on-1.
That could be cool. Green Reaper says at least it won't be like that last Hell in a Cell match that didn't happen and the ref stopped the match. That was the worst. It was so bad we don't even talk about it. But
we already raced that one.
Yeah. Well, it would be cool if they did the whole match in a bright blue light.
No.
That'd be good.
That might be as bad as the red light was. That I can't think of a worse light to see a match in.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm going to throw up, guys.
Can you imagine too with a red cage and then just flashing a blue light on it? The thing starts going 3D-ish on your screen. You're just like, fuck!
Yeah, they're tripping around and shit. The ref's in the corner crying.
The ref's puking. They're trying to fight and they're missing stuff. The ref just turns around and pukes off the side. What?
Vince
gonna induce seizures.
Vince runs out because it's all going to shit.
Yeah, but he gets dizzy on the way out and trips.
Yes. Tears another quad.
Yeah. Quad. Yeah. And then no one talks about that match. It was weird how that match just went off the air, right? They didn't even call it. They just turned it off.
They deleted it out of the network. You can never watch it again.
Yeah.
The legendary never erase, never to be shown. Just add on this. Match,
yeah. Never watch
anything Benoit.
Yeah, it's the worst thing that could happen.
The last tape. The Hell
Let's
in a
see.
Cell
Okay.
last
The lost tapes.
Sorry.
Let's see. I think there's two topics that were particularly big, and this one is not as big, but I think it's notable. So I think we're going to go with that one, and then we'll talk about the other two. Bailey getting disqualified, leading Sasha to challenge Bailey for a Hell in a Cell match. I'll tell you, I'm part of a lot of Bailey fandoms on the Twitter community because I like what I like. People
You
are losing
a
their
lot of
shit about
Bailey
this.
fandoms.
Yeah, I quietly watch. They don't know what I'm actually about, but they are losing their shit talking about how this whole storyline's been ruined, how it's awful, how there's no build, about how there's no story behind it anymore, about how if Sasha wins then the whole thing is over and scrap it and it was just a total waste. I feel like I'm watching a different show. Can
Yeah.
you guys maybe explain to me how they think that there's no story going into this Hell in a Cell match?
Those
I
people
was
clearly
convinced.
have head injuries.
I guess maybe it's because we don't always have Twitter open as we're watching, or I don't. But I was just watching it as like, okay, let's see where this goes. Like, I guess I wasn't thinking too deeply about it. I was just like, okay, there's room for stuff. I didn't think, oh, that's it. But that's just me.
Yeah,
So,
now Klump, I don't think you saw the Sasha promo, so you can't really give insight into there. But that's the only thing I'm thinking is that because she's all like, I think she said something to Bailey and said, "I want you in a Hell in a Cell. I'm gonna take the only thing that you love, and that's the women's title, right?"
Yeah.
I don't understand how people think we got here without story.
I mean,
That's all we've seen for the past 7 months is the specific story of Bailey and Sasha and their demise the past 4 weeks. And the fucking 5 years before that. And let's say you took some of that out. Let's say you only talked about the last 6 months. You had Bailey win a title, Sasha make her return, they team back up, Bailey helps Sasha get her own singles title, they get themselves their tag titles back. They're on this best friends world tour of championshipness, all the gold, and then they start to lose all their stuff, and the only one who's able to hold on to one thing left is Bailey, and she then attempts to murder Sasha. Turns out Sasha has a much better neck than we all thought. Her neck is strong.
she's got like Ishii neck.
Yeah, people
Made
were
out of
saying
rubber.
that they botched the injury angle and said she came back too soon. I was like, or maybe Bailey maybe Bailey held back. Maybe there's still part of Bailey that cares enough about her that she's not going to pull a Orton and Edge, I'm going to murder you and end your career. Maybe it's, I want to do this to hurt you, but part of me doesn't want to hurt you. And maybe that there's a pull back there. So maybe all it did was bruise her neck and didn't break her spine. That seems possible. And if all you knew going in was Bailey tried to kill Sasha, and then Bailey comes out the next week and says, yeah, I tried to kill you because you would have tried to kill me first, and I hate you. And then the next week, Sasha comes out and says, all right, bitch, you're bitch. What more do you need to know? I've seen less than that end in bloody brawls in parking lots.
I hope they say that word for word too.
Yeah.
With the like kind of stutter in the middle and all.
Yeah.
Yes.
God.
Like, what more do you need to know? Like, am I missing something? Am I being too forgiving in this storyline? Is it actually completely botched, or are they just erasing their memory every time they watch the next segment?
It sometimes does feel like that just generally within people. I mean, I've been having quite a few discussions with people about just general things happening in the world, and it's like, oh, that's still going on? Yeah! Hasn't ended, champ!
The movie's not over!
Yeah. The plague didn't go away. Things are rough. It didn't stop being rough.
Oh, the voting hasn't happened yet? No!
Well,
It's not Masked Singer.
It's not over.
oh, it's not over.
Yeah.
No, it started.
Yeah, like, it seems to me that people are like, I don't know. Like I said, if you guys think I'm being like way too forgiving and assuming too much stuff, I just feel like we've been waiting for the story for so long, and everything we've seen has been a little nod. We're like, are they? Up. Now that it's happening, everyone's all like, I can't believe they rushed this. I was like,
amount
what
of
the
time-
fuck?
The amount of times errant comments you've made have led me to drive home with tears in my eyes. I'm never gonna say that you're not being rough, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give you that.
People are absolutely saying they rushed this, though.
I could see where they say they rushed the injury and her coming back from it. I could kind of see that because you get somebody jumping on your neck with a chair, you should be out a minute. She came back right away, had the neck brace and stuff like that. I could see where
Bobbing
they're
her
rushing
head.
that. Yeah. I don't understand how they can say that the story's ruined, though. Because
Good.
I just think that they do tease it, and I think Bailey, getting disqualified plays into it like perfectly.
Yeah.
It makes you hate Bailey even more, as a heel, and you want to root for Sasha more, and you're excited to see this match, and it's one of those things where if they did this at an actual live event, it would suck for everyone that was there. Because it's like, hey, I want to see this, and you don't get it, what the hell? But to do it like here, I think it's great. I think, it makes, when they actually go blow to blow in Hell in the Cell, that much better.
Klump, what do you think?
I mean, to me, I think the one thing I'll throw that maybe was a negative in terms of like this happening too quickly is, so in the past when we've done the injury angle with like a neck like this, wasn't it to typically kind of cover like somebody's gonna go get surgery or do something that they need to outside of WWE? In doing it this way, yeah, it frees them to bring them back in faster, which I can see the benefit to that, but I can't see the argument for, why it seems so short. Because, when Shawn Michaels did it with Kane, he was out because he had to get some actual surgery done,
Wasn't it his ankle, too? Or was it his neck?
I think it was his neck.
All right, just wondered.
Yeah. But no, so I get that. And I mean, you kind of see that like with Finn Balor versus Drew. Like, oh yeah, he's totally fine after being punched in the face. And then like now he got surgery today.
Yeah. No, some stuff's going on. Grim Reaper said in the chat, if you love the story where they were teaming up, you have to love the story where they split up. Their whole story is compelling. Bluebird says that's, there's a lot going on. Then Grim Reaper says, this was the best story they had since NXT Brooklyn 1, and I was there, which I am jealous about. And Bluebird said, I've actually seen people saying Sasha better win Hell in a Cell. I think that, I don't know, so I've been seeing people go back and forth saying Sasha has to win, and then the story is just over and you never bring it up again. And then I've seen other people saying Bailey has to win because you got to figure out a way to get them to Mania. And I see both sides, but now they've been drafted to the same brand. How the fuck do you get them to Mania now?
I thought that was stupid. I thought for sure that they would during the draft, and then, Sasha wins Rumble, and, hey, I want her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
It made sense. Now, it made sense like when Stone Cold won the Rumble. Everyone knew Stone Cold was going to win. He had to. It was the only way he was going to get a title shot. Vince wouldn't let him. No one booed because they predicted it. They cheered because, yes, this is how this happens. You know what I mean? And I think that that would have been the same way with Sasha. Had she won the Rumble, people would have lost their mind because they know where it's going. That's why people lost their minds when Becky won the Rumble. Sure, she got fished in there kind of weird, and no one gave a shit. No one said it didn't make sense. No one said it was forced. She won, and all people could think were, we're going to get Becky and Ronda. Yeah. You know? And I think that had you had Sasha win the Rumble, everyone would have lost their mind because all they could think is, we're getting another Sasha Bailey.
And we were there for that Rumble.
Oh, yeah, we were there for that Rumble, Grim Reaper, so how about that?
And it's out because Lana finally got her shot.
Yeah.
I'll throw things at you, Kevin.
Yeah.
I will shit
all is right in the world again. Lana was screwed out of the Rumble where Becky just needlessly won. But Lana won the Battle Royal, and that's what's most important.
Yeah,
I am
full
so
circle.
as much as
I
I
will
cannot stand
Flaming bag of
Lana,
dog do.
as much as I can't stand Lana, every time she was put through the table, I was laughing because I was like, oh man, like I hate her so much, but I actually was starting to feel bad for her. And her winning, I was just laughing because I'm like, man, Asuka's gonna love this.
Yeah, Asuka's gonna
This
beat the
is
shit
gonna
out
be-
of her.
This is gonna be great, and everyone's gonna know it, unless she pulls up some like crazy cheating thing. Like she's gonna be annihilated.
Yeah, I thought Nia was turning face with how often she was putting Lana through a table. It's like, man, I'm cheering everything Nia's doing now.
Yeah. Real quick, I gotta give me like 5 minutes. Cleveland just won the playoffs.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Get what I mean?
Yeah, go celebrate.
We're not gonna see Kevlar for a while.
It's all right. Kev's fuzzy. He's always been that way.
I got my ghost filter on.
Yeah, just make sure you're muted, Klump.
Oh, wouldn't that be great if you forgot to mute and you could just hear him way off in the distance?
I
There's-
could picture. I'm sure that would happen. Yeah.
There's a video of this guy in town hall doing that.
Nice.
Where he was wearing a microphone and he forgot to take it off or mute it or whatever, and he went to the bathroom and you just hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, politics.
Yeah. I can finally get into politics now.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait a second. I know what it's all about now. I got to run for something.
It all makes
Hey.
sense.
Do you think if Sasha wins Hell in a Cell that the storyline's ruined?
I would be a little disappointed about it. Like, because I just don't want, we want to see them at Mania. You want to see them, have the big show. But I would almost feel like if Sasha won, that means Bayley has to win Royal Rumble. And it feels like almost kind of like Charlotte, where it's like, all right, we just have to get these accomplishments to these women. Boom, 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 let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think that there is a story to be told about Sasha Banks never retaining a title, that she's won a number of times and has never retained. So I do think there could be a story there where she not only beats Bayley, but then holds on to the title at Mania, but then you have to then you're going months without her defending it. And that's what I think.
I think it'd be interesting if Sasha wins Rumble and then Bayley gets the rematch the next SmackDown and actually wins it from her back, and then says, "Hey, you can't hold on to the title. This was your last chance, or I'm not giving the shot," and keeps ducking and dodging her, and then maybe Rumble happens and Sasha wins.
You're saying Bayley? Oh, that Sasha wins the Hell in a Cell and Bayley wins right after.
Yeah, that she doesn't have a successful defense.
Yeah, I could see both. I mean, Grim Reaper saying Bayley needs to hang on longer, and I'm not going to complain about a longer Bayley run. I think she's had a hell of a run, and I'm ready for her. I don't want her to ever lose. I want her to be Bayley San Martino. I've been saying that. 7 years long, let's do it. But I do think there could be a story where Bayley loses it, gets it back because Sasha just can't hold on to it. And then, I don't know. I guess hot potato is frowned upon at times, but I think that at the same time, when you have two people who are at an elite level, the idea of the title going back and forth isn't that ridiculous in story, as long as it's not a year long of 12 reigns because it just flopped back and forth,
Yeah.
I think they'd have to be careful about it, but they could and make it last that whole way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think on this one, I'm super torn. Like you said, we're really starting to gain a lot of sympathy for Sasha. I'm starting to want to get Sasha to win too. Like, as much as I want Bayley to never lose that title, there's part of me it's all like, man, Sasha's got to get hers, man. She's just getting she looks like a fool out there,
Yeah.
So you're starting to want Sasha to get her comeuppance, but I think that with them being on the same brand, it muddies the whole thing because now it's harder to how do we get there without them playing hot potato with that title and the heat still being there.
Yeah. I think Bayley, almost like Sammy, sneaks out a win somehow, cheats. I don't know how you cheat in Hell in a Cell, but does something to.
You can definitely do things that
get
are
more heat.
unfair in a cell match, and then just be like, "Hey, everything's legal," and you still look like a shit-eating heel.
And especially like attacking her neck, it's not fully healed or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great if Bayley holds on until Mania, and then Sasha gets her big win.
A lot of people have been saying that the Sasha has to win for the thing to really mean something, right? That the Sasha win is the story. Part of me thinks the story is the Sasha retaining, but also part of me thinks that Sasha Bayley is the female Triple H and HBK. This could be, a long storyline that has a lot of flows, and every time you think, okay, that's the end of that, something happens a couple years later, and you go, oh yeah, there's still a lot of stuff here to dig into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about that. Anything else on them?
No.
Klump? Anything else?
I'm good there. I'm excited
All
to
right.
see where it goes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is I'm super invested in it because I could see it going so many different directions, and most of them seem pretty interesting, that I'm just here for it, man. Let's just see where it goes. And they seem to be two people who seem to be relatively involved in their story, so I think it's also pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So we got two more things on SmackDown. Lars Sullivan made his return.
Yeah.
The
I'm
freak
surprised about that.
in the sheets.
He looks less freakish with the beard.
But his head looks more round, right?
Yeah, but it takes away from his overbite, and
Yeah.
he doesn't look as freakish.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's losing a little bit of that freakish edge. Klump, I know you were excited. Tell us about it. I don't know what he's doing.
Well-
He's probably looking up pictures of Lars.
No. God, no. So we're going into rumors of people coming back and stuff like that and on and on. I am I just feel like why is he back? Because and we kind of talked about this off show, you and Marsh and I. He's like nails to me, or and I say that in the sense of backstage, everything there. He's a big guy, I get it, but he's not particularly great in the ring. He really isn't. He's too green to be put into anything, and time and again, we've heard stories from Bruce, about when we hear stories of telling him saying, as long as I know about it, it's okay. We keep finding out new events that appear to be new things he's doing.
Can you imagine, though, just on the flip side of that, if they knew about it? Every time he does a new thing, he goes, I did it again. I did another thing you're going to want to know about. It's going to bubble up.
Yeah.
What? Can you imagine just every week they have a meeting with Lars? What else is on there now? What else did you do now? And he goes, all right.
I was doing yoga classes and I came onto the instructor multiple times and got told no by her, and I kept doing it, and there's photos of it. Yeah.
There's no way there's not photos of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, God damn it.
He took the photos himself.
Yeah.
I already posted this online under a username just so I can get ahead of it. Okay.
Yeah.
But why? There are so many talents that would be better served with time on screen than him. Why don't we see more time for an Aleister Black? Why don't we see more time for a Bobby Roode? Why don't we see more time for what's Bob Atunde going by now? This would be a good spot for him. He's a big scary motherfucker.
Double Kato.
Yeah, Double Kato. Have him come out. Because
Or
he
Eva
may
Marie.
be hip and green, but as far as we know, he didn't do pay for play gay porn. He's not in these kind of consistent upsetting events. And if anything, the adult film allegations are the least upsetting to me because, I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. To me, what's upsetting is the amount of not telling people, and we keep coming back to, then why is he here? You know?
Yeah, I don't think he brings a lot to the table. I really don't. I do think that he wasn't awful in NXT, so I think he's probably better in the ring than we realize because he's given super short little bits. Just do this, do that. You know what I mean? He's not given a lot of time in there for us to really explore what he's actually good at or not. But he doesn't have enough history there to really say he's bringing a ton to the table. His promo that he cut was awfully weird and not encouraging at all. He's not showing up and lighting the world on fire. Not the way they want. But every time he shows up, people are talking, and it's almost like they're just flat out not reading it, because I don't truly believe in the idea of go away heat. I think I think all heat is good heat if it's wrestling, but the way you see people talk about when he shows up is not the same way you even hear people talk about like Nia hurting people, you know? It just comes off bad.
It does.
But he's a big guy. He is a big dude, and he looks impressive in that regard specifically.
I mean,
Grim Reaper says, I just miss Mauro Ranallo using alliteration to describe him when he comes out. The Leviathan lummox slumbers to his lair, the squared circle. Yeah, I could see that.
That might be the only positive thing about him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was hoping
good.
I was hoping that if they did bring him back, because I kind of had that in the back of my mind when I noticed that he wasn't one of the people let go. I was kind of hoping that maybe they would change his gimmick to at least give him something else to work with.
Mm-hmm. Klump?
I did not hear what producer said at all.
Okay. Well, then say what you were going to say regardless.
What I was going to say was, so the one match we really saw Lars show in, where I think, that made him get the roster call-up, was that ladder match for the North American title. He was in it with the best workers NXT had. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like him being Bronson Reed and working with great people and showing up. It felt like a carrying match, looking back at it. It looked like, yeah, Brodus Clay. Okay, cool, you're working with great people. We're going to do the best to make you look awesome. He really doesn't show it. And, I really, truly struggle with why he's here.
Yeah, I don't know what he's bringing to the table that we're supposed to really latch on to. Kev, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch much of him in NXT. Every time I do see him, though, and obviously it's just appearance-wise, he reminds me a lot of Bruno. Like, they have the same, body.
Of who?
That's what,
Bruno who?
Sammartino.
Bruno Sammartino?
Yeah.
All right.
Bruno Sammartino did gay porn?
No, I don't think so.
All porn is a little gay. Don't say it that way.
He said body.
He said
But I
entire
mean,
body, by the way.
I think they have, the similar body types.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I think, that might just be Vince's thing. Like, hey, look, this reminds me of, or he reminds me of Bruno. We're going to call him, Shrek, and let him beat people up.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that if he's potentially holding on to him because of that. That wouldn't be the most unbelievable thing.
Yeah.
Outside of that, that's the only thing that, I can think of.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I don't think he's bringing much to the table apart from a lot of, company heat. This isn't when people talk about Nia and they say that she hurts everyone. They don't want to see her wrestle. They don't like it. Mm-hmm. This is people, when Lars shows up, people saying, this is why I hate WWE. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's just a weird thing to get from anybody. But to me, that's all you get when Lars comes out.
And, to me, I think it went to the land of being outlandish and cartoonish with some of the allegations, but, shit. To me, I'm still stuck on... said some pretty god-awful, terrible shit on bodybuilding forums. So what is the real Lars? And I'm kind of scared of that. I don't think the performer behind the actor needs to be there, because the performer I don't know what you are. It seems to be very complex, but it doesn't seem to be good.
Yeah, and then
You
they're
know?
always saying you wanna be yourself turned up to 11. And you're like, but we've seen this at 4.
But like
Yeah.
we kind of speculated, what if all that was just to cover up, right? Other stuff.
It was what?
We said, what if he was trying to like make everyone think, oh, look at all these crazy comments he made. Don't find his other stuff. Don't find his gay porn. Like,
Oh, that he might have been saying a lot of outrageous stuff, so people stopped digging on him.
well, yeah, we don't know because that was a long time ago. But also
Yeah.
Big E. I remember when people asked him, "Hey, what do you think about, this guy in your locker room who said all this racist stuff?" And Big E's like, "Well, then he's gonna have to attest to that." Like, so, there's stuff that we don't know that happens backstage too. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he's brought enough to the table, even over a period of time, that's made the headache seem worth it. Like whether or not the stuff happened or not, and you don't want to see somebody go down for shit that they didn't do, but even outside of the idea whether he did it or didn't, that's a lot of headache you're dealing with either way. And there's a certain point where you just cut bait, I feel like.
Yeah. And I think that with everything going on now, the world is a place that's rapidly changing, and people are rightfully calling people on the pretty terrible things that before we'd say, ooh, that's kind of, he's done some stuff. Do we need to further build arguments to the detriment of WWE tolerating some pretty terrible shit by giving him more time?
Yeah, it just seems like I said, it seems like a headache more than anything.
Yeah.
Grim Reaper says in the yoga instructor allegations that just came out makes things even muddier. And yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit ago too, is just like everything that keeps coming out is all like, really something else, man? Like you can't just fucking relax. Just fucking lay low. If you want it, like nothing can blow over if you keep kicking up new dust, man.
Yeah.
But Lars Sullivan aside, the show ended with the return of the New Day winning the tag team championships and being drafted to SmackDown Live. That was it. That's all I remember.
Is it?
Yeah, that's it.
You,
Pretty sad.
That was everything.
No. Kofi
What?
and Kofi and Xavier got drafted. Big E staying.
Kofi and Xavier staying. You got drafted.
No, Kofi and Xavier went to Raw.
They went.
Yeah.
They went to Raw.
Yeah.
Oh, that changes everything.
Oh, okay.
This
You
is
need
hard
to
to
quit
keep
drinking
track
when
of.
you wet your nose.
How did? No, I know it even says Big E drafted to Raw.
What? No, that's wrong.
You guys sure?
Yes.
All right.
Because they did this belt switching thing and this awkward thing with.
They did do a belt switching thing, which was weird, and especially weird given that they never left SmackDown.
Throw things at you.
What do you guys think about the split of the New Day? Klump, we'll start with
I
you
will say
because.
this.
Oh wait,
Never
we're gonna
mind,
start
go
with Kev. Start with Kev.
All right, hold on. I this might be unpopular opinion, but I absolutely hate that the New Day won the titles. And I hate it.
I was hesitant.
I hate it for the simple fact is it's their first match, and we haven't seen Xavier in feels like 5 decades. And
It's been over a year.
yeah, and and Kofi just got back. It's his first match back, and then they won titles. It made but Cesaro and Shinsuke, the sushi bar, look absolutely terrible, and it just to me shat on the entire SmackDown tag team division.
I thought it. As good as the match was, I did think that ultimately Shinsuke and Cesaro were a bit shat upon in that. Yeah. I mean, I get it because there's the feel-good moment they're going for, and you can't dispute how good New Day is as a team, and the fact that they are believable champions every time they win it. But it also feels a lot like, hey, you guys just showed up and just snatched it away from these guys who actually won it off them to begin with, right?
No,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, they beat Biggie and Kofi.
And Kofi.
Which doesn't feel like that long ago, but turns out it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was kind of a while ago. But yeah, I agree. That part I had to get past that to kind of watch the rest of the show, which I know it was towards the end anyways, but I had to get past that to just appreciate the idea of New Day being back and being champions. But it really made me wonder what's happening with Shinsuke and Cesaro. Although they were drafted together, weren't they?
Yeah.
So that's also kind of interesting.
But then the other thing that kind of got my goat on this is I hate that Stephanie announced New Day first. I think it would have been more of an impact if they said Biggie got drafted here, and then Xavier and Kofi got drafted to Raw.
Like, I feel like
I think the reason that was because they had to say the New Day got drafted, and that's where you get the Xavier Woods saying you didn't say Big E's name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but see, I just don't think that they should have said. I think she should have said the New Day got drafted to Raw, and then they're all sitting there and celebrating, and then with the next pick, SmackDown drafts Big E without saying the New Day, Xavier, and Kofi. Just say the New Day, and then just say Big E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I wasn't too bent out of shape about the way they did it because I thought that it did provide that nice moment where it was actually really sad, where Woods is just, you didn't say Big E's name. Say Big E's name. And then they led into exactly what we all knew. But, and that's just it, too, is that they did have a way of delivering it where you like knew what was going to happen, but you were like unbelieving of it at the same time. You're just like, oh, no. Oh, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they gonna? Are they really gonna? There was a whole lot of that in my mind. What do you guys think about the split in general as far as them being split up?
I would be more nervous if it were another team. You know, I think that no one here is going to try and define themselves so like separate where they're gonna say I'm beyond this or past this, but then also they all are their own individual entities.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen this with Kofi. If Kofi winning the title and them all still being together, didn't pull it back, they'll be okay. I don't think this is gonna be splitting up the Dudleys. I think this is gonna be, this faction goes across this faction, this friendship, this support for each other goes beyond a brand.
Yeah, I feel like they'll always be the New Day even when they're not. There's just New Day is too much a big part of them. Fabtina says, I still want to see Big E have a good singles run as much as I do love New Day. He only has so many years left. And Bluebird says, on their podcast, he does begin to talk about what he would do in retirement. Yeah, I mean, they've all talked about like what do they want to do next, and the idea of Big E having that big singles run is something as fans we all want. I also think part of me thinks that they're so happy with what they've created in the New Day that I don't think that any single one of them needs that to feel fulfilled with what they've done.
Yeah.
Grim says, I could see Kofi versus Xavier's split happening after they lose the tag titles, further their singles careers too, maybe sometime next year. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't see it not happening. I think that, but I also don't think you have to have them split through a feud. I think you can just have them go their separate ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll do that, but down the line a little more, because I definitely think that they're gonna tie Harlem Heat with 10 at least.
You know how I would do it if I'm booking and Bruce is listening? I'd have Xavier Woods enter King of the Ring and win it.
Yes.
And start his singles run that way.
Yeah, he's always talked about how it's his favorite.
His favorite pay-per-view.
His favorite pay-per-view. So I think that would be so fitting.
Yeah, that's how I would do it.
Even though we love Baron Corbin as king.
Oh, King Corbin is the shit. He is incredible.
How long has he been King Corbin now? Like 2 years, right?
I don't know. In my heart, he'll forever be
It's
king.
been well, it's been over a year. I've just been wondering about that lately. Like, you know, they did King of the Ring, cool. He's King Corbin, cool. And then they haven't done another King of the Ring. Because I wouldn't even be pissed if he enters it and wins it again and keeps it going. Like, fine. But have King of the Ring.
Yeah, that's true. And it has been over a year because he came to SmackDown with the King gimmick when they debuted on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Grim Reaper says, you heard it here first. Give me what I want. Give me what I want.
I want to say it was early July or late June last year that they did the King of the Ring.
I think that's about right, yeah. Because he was in the proper ring attire and had the new song and everything when they did the whole segment with The Rock and Becky. Mm-hmm. And they called him a super tough dude.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
STD.
STD. STD. STD.
Oh, baby.
Let's see. Unless you guys want to speculate about the draft specifically, there's a couple things in Raw that I think were definitely notable. I'd say, honestly, to me, there was 3 things in Raw that really got me hyped up. Maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
Klump, can you stop writing an essay just for like a fucking half hour?
Keep going.
Yeah, the thing is, we have your volume so loud
guys,
for your
He's
voice.
a stenographer. He's like, I'm keeping record. Yo, Ricochet doing the Eddie Guerrero thing. That was so good.
I love his fate. How he put his hand on his head.
Yeah. He put his hand on his head and just went stiff. Boosh.
Yeah.
On the replay, too, when I watched it, I just started laughing. I was like, he's like, oh. Like,
yeah. The only thing that kind of got me upset with that is the whole stipulation was if, you know, Ricochet loses, he'll be in the Hurt Business. Why would you pick Cedric Alexander to go up against him? Like, put Bobby. Like, hey, that would be an asset to the Hurt Business. Put the CEO of the Hurt Business. You're the biggest, actually, and then do the Eddie spot.
yeah, I couldn't tell, given the way they had played it out. I could not tell if they wanted Ricochet in the Hurt Business or not.
Yeah.
That was really difficult for me to figure out because, like you said, he was like, "If I win, I'm in, or if I lose, I'm in. If I win, we're through." And I couldn't tell if Ricochet really wanted to be in it or if Hurt Business really wanted him in it. It was really hard to tell. And like you said, if they had put a Bobby Lashley in there and said, "Hey, we need this guy on our team. We'll get him to see the light," then you can go, "Oh, okay, they want him." But they put in Cedric to like prove a point or something, and then they did that. It could have been done in a way where you know what's going to happen. And Blue Boyd says, I sort of wanted him in the Hurt Business. Grim Reaper says he loves it. It was Eddie Guerrero's birthday this weekend, so it was a great tribute. Klump, what'd you think?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was really good spot. I honestly, the big thing to me, I like everything you all said about the connection to Eddie. Just to see Ricochet in a spot where he can show a bit more, just show,
So smooth.
Yeah, he's the best performer in the ring, probably that the industry has. He's the smoothest, the best lucha performer of that style. To see him just get time to show personality, to expand and be more than what we've seen him be portrayed as, hell yeah, that's amazing.
And then when you really think about it, I mean, Eddie wasn't like gorilla armed until later. I'm willing to bet, I mean, there wouldn't be a Ricochet without an Eddie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said he tweeted something.
Something along those lines? Yeah. And like you said, no one moves more fluidly in the ring than Ricochet. He's the most natural moving lucha style or wrestler in general. He's the one person who gets from one side of the ring to the other, and it completely makes sense how he got to that other opposite corner by momentum alone, where other people, you see them just like watch Gargano in the ring. That dude is literally crawling and running, trying to get where he needs to be. Watch Ricochet in similar matches. That dude just shows up there. He's literally doing something else and slides into it, and he just happens to be there. He's figured out more than anyone else, how do you naturally how does it make sense for me to get to there if I'm supposed to be there? And what could I do with my body that would make sense in a fight? Like, absolutely. I think he's world class, and 100% he might be the most natural in the ring of all time.
I think, well, him and Usos, I feel like they all move like dancers. Like, they know where their body is supposed to be, and they know what to do.
That's a good point. The Usos are pretty smooth. Smooth, baby.
Very
Smooth. Yeah, so that's a good call, Klump.
Yeah.
Let him show up a little bit and do a bit of a joke and a tribute, and no one could have done it as good as that.
But how hilarious would it have been if the Hurt Business won and then just looked at him and was like, "Nah, we don't want you."
Yeah.
Walked away.
Yeah.
Because that was one thing that I've been, I hate how much they foreshadowed the draft picks.
A lot of it, yeah.
Ricochet was there. Hey, this might be my last chance because Apollo might not be here, so I might be on my own. And, they have their match, and then the next draft pick. Oh, Apollo's going to SmackDown, where, he never had a career to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Apollo, man. Like, it's a sad story when you think about it.
Yeah.
Let's see. What did you guys think of the Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt spot? Taking out Andrade and Zelina.
Amazing.
It's pretty good.
I liked it. I liked the expansion of the Fiend and Alexa kind of angle. So seeing build up, hell yeah.
Dude, I've been watching that clip. It's like a minute long. That was the majority of my past, 2 days. Just watching that on loop.
Clip on repeat.
Yeah, just 100% of it. It came out so good. And how does Alexa Bliss do the Sister Abigail? Pretty much the same as Bray. How is she that good at that?
They had to practice that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she's
sure
tremendous.
It's amazing.
100%. 100%. And then, dude, remember last week or the week before with her match with Lacey, and they hear the laugh and they come back, and I was like, I don't know why Alexa didn't do like that hanging up backwards thing.
Yeah.
Then this one, the music starts going out, and I was like, oh, Bray, and I was like, oh shit, what if it's Alexa? And then producer just goes, obviously they're building up for an Alexa and Zelina match, and I was like, wait, what, obviously, when did that happen?
Okay, I thought that because
they said
we
it.
haven't seen, and she was making all these hints talking about Alexa, so I was like, okay, well, there's a hint. And then also we hadn't seen her with Andrade and Garza, was it?
Yeah.
We haven't seen them together, all three of them, for a while. I thought she was done with them, so I was like, what's the reason for them coming back? I thought she was doing a singles run, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came from.
What's up, Peach? Sorry.
Oh, AZ Peach, what up?
Yo.
Yeah. I didn't see it coming, and I guess on commentary they sort of mentioned it, but at the same time, when Zelina talks about the title, I kind of zone out because I'm all like, you're nobody to this title. I don't know what you're talking about. But then the lights come on, and it's red, and she's just hanging upside down, and I was like, oh! Scarier than I thought!
Yeah, they're ramping up for Halloween.
Yeah, I super marked out on this one. I was a mess.
More than usual?
Yeah, more than usual. That's for sure. You like where they're going with it, Klump?
I do. I'm excited now. My hope is that it's not just a short kind of segment bit. Maybe for another mixed match challenge thing. I hope it's not that. I hope they expand this, or hell, if we're gonna do that, the idea of a mixed match challenge could be cool if you continue characters on. I think there's a lot of potential with this. I think Alexa is the best, in my eyes, overall performer for the women's division.
All right. I won't yell at you.
Yeah, I think Bray is the best performer overall for the men's division. Having them come together and be this creative force, hell yeah.
Yeah. You know, man, it played out better than I could imagine. We've all been like, can you imagine them together? That'd be so good. And then it happened, and I was like, this is way better than what I thought.
I would totally agree with Klump too. I think they're at the top of each division acting wise. I think both of them just have such great acting chops. But in the back of my mind, I'm really, really hoping that they don't kind of do like what they did with Braun to Alexa, and that we think she's going to be a great part of the story and the fun house, and then it only lasts so long. Like I don't want her to fade away from this, because I was disappointed at Braun not being a part of Bray's story anymore in any part. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's my only concern.
So good, man. So good. Zelina was looking scared. I'm into it, man. I can't wait. So here's the thing now we're getting like this slow transition with God.
Yeah.
My jaw fell
Travel.
out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, traveling.
With Alexa.
This transformation with Alexa has been so slow. And every time I'm all like, oh, I can't believe they didn't do this, and then they do it. I think we're gonna start seeing like some face changes. We're gonna start seeing like a little bit crazier makeup, and all. Before you know it, it's gonna be a full on. She's gonna cut her own face off live on the air. It's gonna be incredible.
And
She's dedicated.
There have been some speculations. What if there's a his and her belt?
Yeah, people talking about his and her belts. Although I don't think I want to see Alexa's face stretched out over a title. What do you think, Klump? Stretching out Alexa's face over the title.
Let's see if they give her.
Please never again. That was interesting. We don't need to ever do that again. That was like
You're like fascinating case study.
Yeah. We don't know if that team has any mask that they've got worked up.
I know if they do a cool mask, then maybe.
You know how the Fiend would come out with the Bray Wyatt face on his lantern?
Yeah.
What if they did that with a coffee cup for Alexa? Just like her little
I
stretched
said-
out face on a coffee cup.
Kevlar, I
that'd be gnarly.
totally said that during the show. I was like, man, I wish Alexa had a lantern. He's like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I want a lantern with Alexa. Her old, happy, cheery face, all gross like the lantern, and then
Yeah, that'd be
her coming
gnarly.
out.
Ugh. But just make like a coffee mug. So dope.
Yeah.
You could even do a coffee mug with like a sparkly mic just like hanging out of it. Ugh. Let's get awful. That'd be so good. What did you guys think about Elias making his return?
that was cool. It's been way too long. Like, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Loved it.
I was really excited. As soon as who was it that went down? Was it Jeff Hardy he hit?
Jeff, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff
And which, by
Hardy-
the way, Jeff Hardy, AJ, and Seth, I was like, okay.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah, that match was incredible, and I think having Elias interrupt it, I think is good because it still builds up that desire to have more of that down the line. If we ever get there, who knows? But yeah, and then seeing Elias, really exciting. He's been gone for so long, dude. Although someone brought up a good point, his gimmick's going to be incredibly hard without a crowd.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this dude is like the most crowd interactive guy that they've had since The Rock.
But maybe it'd be interesting. Maybe he gets frustrated because he's so used to the crowd hearing or booing, and I sell out stadiums, and he's like, well, there's no one here, and just him getting frustrated about it might be interesting.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
He goes, "What does WWE stand for?" Guy, seriously,
Anybody? Anybody?
Saxton, help me out. Fuck.
Yeah,
Please.
exactly. I was gonna say you hear Saxon just walk with Elias.
Thank
That
you.
was so good, dude. Dude, Saxton, when he was with Stone Cold, was so funny. Give me a hell yeah. And then Saxton's like, hell yeah.
I just remember what? Because it was.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a Stone Cold one. It looked like a legit fuck is this?
Yeah. The way he just Stone Cold looked at him. What?
No.
So fucking funny.
I'm excited to see him and Jeff Hardy because, they're both musicians. They're both artists. Like, Elias actually can paint, really well. Like,
Elias can paint, but Jeff can sing.
Okay. Stop.
I'm
Stop it.
joking.
We're being positive. I don't know what you're doing. But I love both of them, and it would be really hard for me to, boo either of them, honestly.
Yeah. Grim Reaper says, I still want him to come out and play and not face the Thunderdome in the ring. Just have his back to everyone. And it still would look good. I think it's cool to have him back. I'm excited. And he looks like he's in great shape.
Yeah.
And that dude's big. You forget about it, too. He wears the big baggy, weird, loose clothes and all those fucking weird things on his arms. And then when he comes out to wrestle and he takes his shirt off, you're like, Jesus!
You see it in his legs, because he wears those weird, those weird jeggings, and you're like, shit, legs.
Yeah. And then remember,
He's
I know
built,
you
too.
remember it, Kev. His fucking jump to the top.
Yeah. I remember. Were you over at my house when we saw that?
Yeah.
And we rewound it. We're like, look at it! Oh my god!
Yeah, because you and I both went the same thing. We both went, oh my God. And then you actually heard Corey Graves go, oh my God, right after us. And we looked at each other and watched, we're like, go back, go back. Yeah, he jumped from the mat to the top rope, grabbed a guy and superplexed him. And almost like one fluid motion where you're all like, what? Who jumps that high? You know who jumps that high? Pat
Standing
McAfee.
base jump, and he did.
Yeah. Pat McAfee's the only other guy who can do that. Future Hall of Famer, Pat McAfee.
You say that, but we know it's true.
It's so true, dude. I can't wait for his action figure. Comes with a football with a painted picture of Adam Cole on the side of it.
Comes with in a pack with an Adam Cole action figure that is deliberately much smaller than a typical WWE action figure.
Yeah, remember when
McAfee's
Kevin...
a G.I. Joe, he's a...
Well, remember when Kevin Nash came with a little tiny ref?
Yeah.
It'd be like that. Or when the Giant came with Rey Mysterio. Remember that one in WCW? Where it was just it couldn't even move. It was so small. It's exactly what you're going to get.
It's a Lego minifig. God damn it.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to bring up before we can just kind of BS about the draft for a few minutes, Lana won the Battle Royal. She's going to get her comeuppance. She's getting her title opportunity. Is this it? Is this the end of
It's
Asuka's
about time.
reign of terror?
Very
Yes.
doubtful.
I'll quit watching.
I know. This is
Like,
the one
I know
thing
I'm
that's
not great at this now, but I won't even, you'll, send me clips and I'll deliberately not watch. I'll just be like, nope, I watched Masked Singer.
Yeah.
Sarah
What do you think about
Palin was
Lana? I think the giraffe was awesome. What?
Busta Rhymes was a thing. That was cool.
Yeah.
Unless Lana joins the Hurt Business. With her ex-husband, Bobby Lashley.
Unless Lana's fucking fired, dude. I'm not...
I don't know what she's bringing to the table, and I mean, I try not to be super negative about people, but fuck, dude, nothing she does on the mic ever makes me do anything but cringe and want to walk away. She stutters and stumbles. She doesn't know what she's saying. She's clumsy in the ring. I just don't get. I don't see it.
I don't get
I don't
it.
see it.
She actually has a lot of fans on social media.
Social media makes sense to me. She wears very little. She moves around a lot. That's what social media is for.
Well, there's some people that probably watch for her. I don't know. I'm guessing.
I don't know.
No
do
one
you guys?
watches WWE for Lana.
The people that are following her, not us, but
I was excited about the Natalya and Lana breakup.
loved that.
I thought that was cool. I did think it made sense because of how it led into the end. And by the way, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke looked spectacular together again. I really like them as a team. Like you said before, dude, power and glory. I don't know how it's not power and golden or something. The golden mega powers.
Yeah.
You know?
Something. What the hell was that?
No, let him
That
have
was
it.
just me reacting to Lana. Just like
Let him
generally.
have it. Let him have his slurp.
Let me just.
Oh,
Let him
thought-
slurp. He's sad.
I'm just start banging.
I thought,
Yeah.
I legitimately
It's feeding
thought
time.
Klump
What was that, Kev?
I said I legitimately thought that Klump was taking a rip of a bong. He was like, man, fuck this.
Not allowed to do that anymore on the show.
Dude, that'd be so funny. The hard bodies. Yeah, that's not bad. I like them as a team. I think they could be really good for the women's tag division. They're really good together. I like Mandy on the mic. I think Dana is good on the mic when they give her a chance and she's fired up. But I also like Mandy on the mic just because she has such a thick New York accent. If she says the right thing, it just makes me think about New York a little bit. So I'm always like, all right. Let me see. There was one
The
other
only
thing that
thing
happened in there. Go ahead.
Oh, well, it was just going to the draft, and we'll get to it. One of the things they had a big thing about Raw was I like how Drew, opens the show. Or Randy opened the show. Drew interrupts. I'm gonna kick your ass. Every time I see you in the arena, and then he just puts his belt down.
Yeah.
He doesn't even put it to the side. He literally just throws it on the floor. They go back and forth, and then Randy's escaping Drew, and he's on the floor, and the belt's right next to him.
Yeah. And then you also don't see them again till the Battle Royal. If he's been beating his ass this whole time, how come we never cut to it till now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of disrespectful to the main event.
Yeah,
Oh, the
I'm
one thing I
just
was going to
done.
mention, real quick before we go back to that, is the finishing maneuver that Dana Brooke and Mandy did, where Mandy stood there and then Dana got on the top rope and then stepped to Mandy's leg or shoulders and then dove down. For one, Dana looked a little unsure, but the bigger thing to me was that Mandy's not taller than the top turnbuckle.
Yeah.
This isn't like when Alexa stood on top of Braun's shoulders and jumped down to get that extra height. Mandy was just there as another standing post. It was really weird.
Yeah, that didn't make as much sense to me, but maybe they're still figuring it out.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, what?
Yeah. It took 3 to 4 inches off the splash.
Yeah, I was like, you eased up on it.
Yeah.
I mean, like she said, maybe they're still practicing with it. Maybe they do something where she stands up there and then Mandy's able to really give some power pull down on that to give it a good amount. So it's like, oh, Mandy's slinging her. But as it stood, Mandy just stood there and was stand on.
Trying to utilize the gymnastics, the gymnastics that stuff that we know Dana's so good at.
And they're both so strong. Can you imagine though if Dana stood on Mandy's shoulders and Mandy grabbed her feet and lifted her up and then she dove down? That'd be sick. Some real cheerleader shit right there.
I know.
Cheerleaders do crazy shit, dude. That's not a bad thing.
Spirit
All
Squad
right.
back.
Yeah. Bring back the Spear Squad.
Great.
Yeah, they do that and Dolph's in the back like, what the fuck? They stole my thing.
Yeah.
Damn it, guys. Should have been me.
Yeah. Should have been me. Should have been me. Hey, Klump.
No.
Should have been me.
Potentially.
Kev, what else did you have to say about the Orton and Drew stuff other than I'm bored of it?
So I really want Orton to just take the belt off of Drew and
So
Drew to
bad
go
at this
away
point.
for a minute. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At this point, I want Drew to win
They're
so
like-
bad. It's crazy.
You want Drew to win so
No,
You want
Randy.
Drew to win?
I want Randy Orton to win so bad.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it seems like they're creating the exact opposite of what they're going for. Like Drew's the new Roman.
Yes.
Yes.
Like they're pushing him so bad, and it's like, man, you're just making me hate him that much more right now.
No,
Yeah.
he's. I think
And I was
the
a fan of Drew to begin with.
Yeah.
the babyface Seth.
He feels like babyface Seth. Like he doesn't know how to talk right. He don't talk too good.
I think what was really unfortunate about their segment is that it had to interrupt the women. As much as I don't care for Lana, let the women close out. I don't understand what that added, because honestly, when I looked at it, I was like, this still doesn't make me excited about Orton and Drew. Like I'm still not excited. So you interrupted for no reason.
Yeah, and as much as I don't see what Lana brings to the table, this was Lana's moment, and I think had it closed out Raw, that would have meant a lot to her. And I think she's maybe put in enough time to where you can have one of those, but they had to take that away.
Yeah, she went through like 10 tables. Come on.
She did go through 10 tables to get there. What were you about to say, Klump?
Yeah, this is her moment, so now we can just kind of scoot her off to the side. Just,
Yeah.
bring her back for a Hall of Fame speech in 10 years and just,
Whoa! Whoa!
She's not going to the Hall of Fame before Pat McAfee, goddammit.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
You're like, it's going to be a good class. Trust me.
I'm not give her a fucking pension. I'm not saying just like shuffle her off to a glue factory.
You can't give her the Hall of Fame. What's her crowning achievement? Most likely.
We're cool.
Yeah, this did it.
Winner of that battle royal thing that one time. Boom.
Yeah.
The highlight comes out, it's her with cake, and then it flashes to this, and then it's over. Like, that was the whole package? That was it. That's all we could muster up. Or they show the one time Rusev threw a fish at her.
A picture of, like, keep showing, like, video of her with Rusev or Miro, and it's just a blue dot over his face. I'm cool with this.
just a hard blue dot.
I'm excited. This is cool.
Yeah, all right. Grim Reaper says, protect the RKO at all costs. Please don't kick out to build up Drew, and I agree with that completely. I don't want to. Yeah. The second Drew kicks out of an RKO, I'm throwing my phone at the wall.
I quit.
Yeah.
Fuck!
But you guys know what's going to happen. That's the bad part.
I know, and oh my god, I can't fucking stand it. Hey, couple highlights for SmackDown, or not for SmackDown, but for the draft in general. Starting with SmackDown, SmackDown drafted Seth Rollins. It's the first time Seth's ever been drafted over to SmackDown since the beginning of the draft in like 2016. He's never showed up on SmackDown. What do you guys think?
He's been on SmackDown.
What?
He's been on SmackDown before, but no, that's cool. I mean,
you find me a fucking image of him on SmackDown, but go ahead.
Fine, cool. I'm gonna type loud.
That's gonna interrupt people talking. God.
You asked for it.
E-T-H.
You folks keep talking. I'm looking.
I hate you.
What'd you say, Kev?
I really liked that he went to SmackDown. I really liked it a lot. I thought that was great. I was like, cool. This is going to be interesting. And then I did a complete 180 when the Mysterios were drafted there.
They got drafted to SmackDown right there. You know what made it better? Murphy also drafted to SmackDown. I was like, oh, thank God we can maintain our storyline.
I thought Murphy went to Raw.
No, he did not.
No, it's even worse.
The only person not drafted to SmackDown, Mysterio's mother, drafted to Raw. People didn't notice that, but she was drafted to Raw. What?
Okay, so I got a picture of Seth holding the WWE World Heavyweight title as well as the WWE US title on SmackDown.
Was it pre-2016?
Like 4 years ago.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Clump's like already checking a W in the win column. He's like, got that one.
Wait.
You just hear that bong bubbling again?
Seth Rollins on SmackDown 2017. You guys are giving me space to find this out. You didn't say, it couldn't, I'm sure he showed up when they do that dumb bullshit like we're going to fight because
Grim says that's 2015.
The wild card.
Ba, 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 ba.
The wild card.
God,
I'm looking at
5
the
years.
draft real quick. Other big surprises. I mean, I'm going to agree with you, though, dude. Seth going over there I thought was so good. And then they brought over Dominic, Mysterio, and Murphy. And I thought, oh, they're just trying to split up their storylines a little bit different. That, to me, was the biggest bummer of it. I'm really excited about the idea of Seth being there because I think you can actually get to a Seth-Roman match that fucking becomes legendary. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think you could get there. But I don't think Dominic's in the way of that. I don't know. But you could get Dominic versus Jey Uso, so that's exciting. Dominic versus Big E.
I'm
You
okay
listed
with
2 people of their entire staff. Gotcha.
Yes.
but I'm okay with the Mysterios going to SmackDown. But I hate after they got drafted was like they're like, oh yeah, guess what? We can continue this. You know, his past isn't done with him or whatever the hell they said. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's over. This is done. Stop. Like,
Yeah,
stop. Channels.
Can you imagine Adam Pearce walks over? I heard what you said, and that's just don't do that when you go there.
Yeah.
Who
I know.
wants this family to keep fighting? God damn it.
And I know, producer here, I know that that's not what I sound like. Stop. That's not what I sound like. So I know Marsh. Oh my god. See what I have to deal with, viewers, listeners.
When you started the, I felt like you were tuning up the band like Shawn Michaels.
Forget it.
Sorry, producer, go ahead.
No, you're over here dying.
I'm not.
Oh my god.
Good, everything's good.
So I know Marsh kind of once the Mysterios came up, it's like, oh, they're both together. But I like the idea of Ray and Dominic together for now, just because I'm assuming that Ray's gonna retire pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of them both being in the ring, and hey, yeah, train with your dad like while you can.
Right on.
Like hell yeah, I'm excited. For
Yeah,
that.
I really like that too, and I like that they got excited that they got drafted together, and they said that. But then they just shit on my Wheaties and said, "Yay, we get to go after Seth some more."
Yeah.
Not excited. But
Side note, real quick, producer, if you ever want to get back at Marsh, just do an impression of him. All you need is a fart machine and opening of beer sounds.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Marsh here.
Thanks.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
What was I going to say? Oh, here's the thing. You put the Mysterios together like that, I want to see them go for the tag titles.
Yeah.
I don't want you drafting
That'd be
two
great.
motherfuckers to be single stars together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down.
Make them a tag team. Make them a proper tag team. The Mysterios. Let them do that. Because that also keeps them away from Seth and Murphy. Just let them go here and do tag team stuff.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
okay with
It's
that.
a
Take
fucking
take it
ready-made tag feud. That doesn't keep
from,
them apart.
take it from Street Profits.
I was
love
gonna
that.
say that.
Yeah.
Oh, and the first stepping stone. This shit again.
Yes, let that be their first stepping stone. They get past it, and that's it. Because the tournament's over. Seth and Murphy officially break up. They're on their way. Seth's like, "Fuck you, dude. I'm not doing this shit." And he goes and gets in a fight with Otis.
He wouldn't sound like that. He'd have an Australian accent. He'd say, "Fuck you, dude.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you, dude.
I'm
Fuck.
out of here." That's not a knife.
Then he just stabs him in the eye.
Grim Reaper says Titus O'Neil and Nia Jax are the only two who haven't been drafted to SmackDown since 2016. And he said that sounded like Quagmire singing HBK's theme song. I mean, it's the producer, not me. Let's see. Tucker and Otis being split apart. What do you guys think?
Shit, I forgot Tucker was employed.
Yeah, he got drafted to Raw.
Tucker's career is officially over.
That poor bastard. Like, he's like, oh yeah, you're here too. Shit.
Really feels that way, which sucks.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
Good. He went to ASU.
God
Okay.
damn it! I knew you were gonna make some fucking. I was gonna say, don't make an ASU joke, Kevin. Please don't make an ASU joke.
Yeah, but ASU. Oh, here's the other thing people are talking about. Because, I mean, that was what it was, and I think that we all feel the same on that one. People are really up in arms about the fact that they drafted Retribution at all, let alone to Raw. Here's my thought, and tell me if I'm just heavy on the Mace Mob. Retribution had to be drafted because the company has to show that they believe, from a kayfabe standpoint, The company has to show that they believe that they have some control over this group, because this group's whole essence is that they can't be controlled. So without the WWE drafting them one way or another, it's WWE acknowledging that they can't maintain it at all, which to me makes it more confusing on why you would give them contracts and why do you let them on here. This has to establish that, look, they are a little wild, but they're ours, and we can get them under control. It's just going to take a minute. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, and I'm sure they're going to use that exactly as the reasoning for why they did it. I'm sure nobody's thought about it that much to this point.
Dick.
way to think about it more than anyone else did.
The only thing that got me with that is that each night they had the talent pool. Like, hey, these people are in there.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know why they would be then in the talent pool.
Because they have to show that they are a faction and a group that can be isolated to, they can be controlled. Look, they're ours, and if SmackDown wants them, they can have them. If Raw wants them, they can have them. But they are an entity that we are in control of. Now, whether or not Retribution acts on that in a different way and says, hey, you guys drafted us to Raw, but guess what? We just cut the ropes on SmackDown again because you guys can't control us, could be interesting. Right? But here's the company making a stand that, hey, we can control them, just give us time.
Yeah. But see, I think if you were going with that, I think you would split them up immediately and then be like, you can't create havoc on, together, and then all of a sudden they just start branching out on their own two retributions, a red one and a white.
Yeah,
a red one and a white one. But see, here's the difference, Kev, is that you're a father, so I would never think to actually discipline children by separating them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's the first step.
Quit fighting. Go to a different room.
Get outside of arm's reach, goddammit.
Just Vince yelling from the back, I'll turn this show around.
Yeah, and I'm looking over there like, this is fucking genius. They can't physically hit each other from that distance. I didn't even realize.
And then if all goes bad, then you can put them in a match where they get beat up, because the physical abuse is how you also...
That's how you do it. The other thing that happened in the draft that I thought was particularly notable and exciting, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are back on the same brand.
I like that. I do like that.
I do like it. I think we could get to a WrestleMania this year where we have a Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and a Sasha versus Bayley, and my name's on the bottom of they've signed a letter to me specifically. They're like,
now,
Marsh, we realize that you've been wanting to. Yeah. If that happens, then we know they're watching.
Okay, so we've had Shivival. What would you name this group? This is wow.
What?
We had Shivival 1 year. Shivival shirt. What would you name this?
Kevin versus Sami Zayn?
And Sasha and Bayley. Never mind.
Was Kevin and Kevin? I'm not booking Kevin and Sami as a tag team. I'm booking them as rivals. Also Sasha Bayley. What's happening? Survival was teams. What's sorry. I don't have a good name for them. They don't have a name. I thought it was good that did you have anything to say about that, guys?
I like it. I like both of them. I think Raw hasn't known what to do with Kevin Owens in a while, so I was excited that he switched brands.
He's always done better on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he can once again shine better on SmackDown.
Every time he's moved to Raw, it's always been like, well, I guess apart from the Universal title, but even the Universal title run, you and I weren't big fans of it.
No, it felt like Chris Jericho run.
Yeah. It was weird.
Really
so
Kevin Owens.
We don't use that name on this show.
Yes, we do. They don't.
It's a Tuesday show.
Yeah.
Don't have to deal with that bullshit until Thursday.
Yeah. Don't you make me. Tamina got drafted, which I thought was interesting because Mickey James did not.
I was using the wild card rule, my friend.
Yeah. Tamina got drafted, which was interesting because Mickey James did not.
Where's Tamina?
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Here's the other thing. If you want to look at the SmackDown women's roster, you got Bayley, Carmella, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Natalya, the Riot Squad, Zelina, Tamina, Billie Kay. That's a pretty good women's roster that they're getting over there. And what's kind of cool about it is it forces Sasha and Bayley to be in a bunch of matches we haven't seen yet, because they've finally been separated from Asuka and Nia and Charlotte and Lacey and Nikki Cross and Alexa. The people we've been seeing them fight for the last several years, they're finally apart. And so I'm really excited about seeing Sasha and Bayley bring out the best in this other whole roster.
Yeah.
Am I alone in that, or?
No, I agree. I agree with that. Like, you can definitely, in my eyes, I felt like Raw was trying to booster their women's division up again. You know, they brought over Mandy and Dana. I was kind of a little annoyed that they drafted them separately. And, you know, to me it felt like Raw was trying to be like, hey, give us, the Naomi, and trying to think of other people that went over there. And it was Charlotte, and it just felt like the Raw, outside of Asuka, the Raw women's division has pretty much been flat.
Yeah. No, looking at the two divisions side by side, I'm really excited to see what the SmackDown women's division does. Not that excited about the Raw women's division does, which is different from like a year or two ago. Remember when they had the lumberjack match on SmackDown and there was 8 women on the outside of the ring, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
But this one's actually, it feels stacked, even though it's not a large number of women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know who went over to SmackDown and we've never seen against Bayley? Natalya. Can you imagine Natalya versus Bayley? Just from an in-ring standpoint alone, that's. I'm ready for that. Klump, how you feeling?
Decent. I think it's a good. Decent.
50-50.
I mean, I think to me it's kind of it's funny in that, like, oh yeah, we have these people like continuously whenever we have the draft, like, oh cool, we still have Tamina. I think it's needed. I think it'll, by creating more division, will create more storylines. My hope is that we create more storylines at more levels, so we have, people who are having awesome fights in the mid card, the lower card, or just below the title, and then we can have those extend into the title, or maybe somebody takes the belt off Bayley, and then we can finally have a story between two female talent that is that level of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, where we don't need a belt for it to be so big. I think that can happen. I think that would be really awesome.
Don't you dare take that title off Bayley in your mind.
I fucking know. I get it.
Gone
I
too
get
far.
it, you motherfucker. And
It's like that Muhammad Ali thing. If you beat me in your dreams, you better wake up and apologize.
I do agree to a sense. Not that, but to Klump's point about the storylines, I am a little, I guess, cautious when it comes to Raw, because for a long time we have not been so excited with their storylines. I hope that this new cast of folks just kind of reignites the stories, and not just, we're going to do the same old thing with new people.
If nothing else, we're not going to get the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Andrade again. And that means we have segments on Raw that are going to be different. Even if we don't know what the hell it's leading to, I don't know what stories you tell with a bunch of these other than the kind of things we've already thrown out there. All I know is that right now, I'm excited to see Raw next week, and I haven't been excited to see Raw in a long time, because I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know who they're going to put in, and I don't know where it's going to lead. I think there's a lot of messy stuff that's going to happen. I think I'm not going to like all of it, but I think it's going to be different than what we've seen in the last several months, and that, to me, is exciting.
I agree with that.
I mean, exciting too.
Yeah, but then that just brings up, the Mysterios and Seth going to SmackDown. It's like, it was overplayed. I'm done with it. and now they're gonna put it on.
I am not going to lie. I'm not as excited to see SmackDown as I am excited to see Raw for that reason specifically. But I am very excited to see where the Raw or where the SmackDown Women's Division is going to go after Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like we're in a really nice spot to get us to Hell in a Cell, and then I want to see what happens after the fact. Matter of fact, this SmackDown leading up is going to have a kickoff show. So it's going to start like a half an hour early, and they're going to have a kickoff to SmackDown because it's the season premiere. It's a new season. I'm hoping we see some cool stuff, but it's Thunderdome, it's pandemic, it's hard to say. I think maybe we get. I remember Triple H 25, all those fucking little FaceTime videos. We might get some of that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
30 Years of Jericho had 30 fucking cameos. So
I'm cool with a lot more promos. Like, I'm cool with that.
yeah, let's see how it goes. I mean, last year we got STD. This year, who knows what we're gonna get? Who knows what we'll catch?
Okay.
So how did you guys feel about Bray getting drafted to Raw?
I think I know why. The thing that bothers me about it is I think Bray and Roman could be the biggest story they tell in a long time, but that might be why they're putting it off because they might not want to tell it this year. They might want to get to the Fiend and Roman next year.
Yeah.
Because when that collision happens at a Mania, that's going to be insane. Can you imagine, too, if you have a run with Roman, Brock Lesnar style, where he holds it from Mania to Mania? Like, he's got it now. If he holds it through Mania to the next Mania, and the next Mania is him versus Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, who still hasn't lost a match, that could be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And
People
it's
might be
the
tired of
Fiend
Roman.
trying to get his revenge because Bray's been trying to get his revenge on everyone. The story that they could tell. The story they told between Bray and Braun was crazy good, and that wasn't half as thick as Bray versus Roman.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Klump.
I mean, people might be tired of Roman again.
No one can be tired of Roman. He's the tribal chief.
Yeah, I don't think this version of Roman is going to get tiresome anytime soon.
Fast forward 6 months, we're like, this fucking Roman shit is done for, right?
But like I said, I still think they're building to Rock versus Roman at Mania.
This year,
Yeah.
I think. And I think next year you have Fiend versus Roman.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. The other thing, the first one I first saw Bray get drafted to Raw, I was like, ugh. Raw isn't as creative as SmackDown. And it kind of like, I was kind of like upset with it. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, Raw is on USA, and they have the Raw hour, the 10th hour, or the 3rd hour. I think they could be maybe a little more edgier with Bray, too.
Yes. I think they could.
Because
I think they could get there.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't seen Raw Underground in 2 weeks, but hey, maybe we could. Maybe we could bring it back.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying Raw Underground, but I'm just saying, I think they might be viewing it as, hey, Fox, we might have to hold back a little on Fox.
Yeah.
Whereas on USA, I think they can go harder with him.
Well, that could be. He could get darker. That's possible. I'm looking through real quick to see who he could. Oh, the Fiend and Randy Orton, guys.
Yeah.
That's possible now.
Hmm?
The Fiend and Jeff Hardy feels like that could be a thing.
Like, should have been a thing already. I mean, could have been a thing already.
Yeah, but it could be a thing again.
On Raw, though.
On Raw!
Who knows if Willow returns?
Yeah, Willow or Woney. I don't know about if Miz and Morrison have any actual history with them or anybody in the Hurt business. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I hope to God they don't give a fucking loss to the Fiend for Drew McIntyre. That's all I want. Keep the Fiend and Drew McIntyre apart. But I think that's all I had for the draft. What else did you guys have?
I think
That
I'm
was
good.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where we go from it.
This one really felt like a reset. Apart from the Seth story potential. And that could still fall apart and become a different thing on the other brand. It really could. You really could see the Mysterios go in a tag team direction and not be a part of this whole thing. That's the only storyline that looked like it was truly staying intact, and that's exciting to me. Well, apart from Sasha Bailey, which is also exciting to me. It feels like we are in a real reset, and I love that.
Mm-hmm. A true draft, not a shakeup.
Yes. No wild cards. Pa, 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 pa. Burp. All right, guys. If you don't have anything else, I don't have anything else.
Oh, Natty just liked my tweet.
Natty liked your tweet?
My comment to her interview.
What'd you comment? Natty's a friend of the show.
Yeah, she's an unofficial friend of the show.
Unofficial friend of the show.
So, producer here. She's...
Go ahead.
God. She recently did an interview with Adrienne Andrew and Matt Dillon on Sippin' the Tea podcast. You can find it on YouTube. And I thought it was an excellent interview. She really talked about her future, what she sees happening after wrestling, and it was a really, really great interview. Anyway, I said a fantastic interview and how I loved her honesty and positivity, especially right now. But I said, me being in a similar age bracket, I could relate to her view on having kids, and we truly hope that one day the documentary that she envisions getting made, it was about her father, or is about her father, hopefully, and the school is successful.
Oh, yeah.
And she responded with 3 little prayer hands. So,
Oh, that's very cool.
yeah. So she's yeah.
Friend of the show.
I won't spill the beans, but go find Spill the Tea and check it out, or Sippin' the Tea.
I won't spill the beans, but you could sip the tea. Yeah. Well done. Well played. Absolutely. Natalia Neidhart, friend of the show, unofficially. She follows me and likes some of our tweets. That's all it is. We don't really know her or anything. But always good to see what's going on. She wants to do a documentary about her dad and more. So check it out. Check us out. Go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. Find us on all of our social medias in there in our About section to get all of our links. Follow our YouTube. Give us our subscribes for the Twitch so you can get yourself a chance at winning this AJ Styles signed comic book. Guys, I'm at Ref Marsh. Kev, who the hell are you?
I'm Kevlar on the rocks with an X.
Klump, who the hell is you?
Klump. Yep.
Cry baby Klump. Thank you guys for coming through. That's last call. Cheers.
Cheers.